We become afraid to speak of what we really are because it challenges what we think we are. And because we've become so enamored and attached to what we think we are, saying that we are not that creates fear, because there's uncertainty and unknowing. But the uncertainty and the unknowing doesn't come from what we really are. It comes from that which we think we are, because that which we think we are is the uncertain, is the temporary, is the changing, is resting in a false sense of security, is not stable, is always changing. And who you really are can never be changed, altered, or affected by that which is impermanent or temporary. Hello, beautiful beings. So the previous message was a channeled message that I did from higher consciousness, which we actually all have access to introduce this next video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about your true self. So if you checked out this video over here, we spoke about your most authentic expression in human form, which we want to awaken here on this channel. But in order to awaken your most authentic expression in human form, you must know who you really are. And you can go that route of figuring out who it is that you really are beneath all of that before your authentic expression starts shining through. Or you can go the other way, which is explore some of the other concepts that we discuss on this channel and then figure out who and what that authentic expression is. I know, returning subscribers, this video is a little bit different to the other formats that I've been making. And if you're new, then stick around because it's going to get juicy and you're listening as far as you are for a reason. And this teaching is probably calling you. So if any of what I just said floats your boat, then stick around. Beautiful beings, I'm Taryn Nightingale. I'm an energy intuitive and higher consciousness channel. And here we awaken you to your true self. Yes, that's your most authentic expression in human form. I'm going to dive right in and leave like all the other intro stuff because we've already done a pretty long intro for this video. So far, if you're new and you haven't yet, remember to like, subscribe and hit that notification button. We talk about consciousness, spirituality and a lot of self-exploration, just so you know. So in this previous video that I've mentioned before, which is part 1 of who your true self is, we look at who true self is here as this person. So how you guys know me is you know me as Taryn Nightingale. You probably have made some sort of judgments and assessments about my personality and who you think I am, and know that I'm probably South African, I'm of mixed race, I'm a woman, I have a YouTube channel, I talk about some weird stuff, and I'm always talking about love, and all of that forms part of this identity that is Taryn Nightingale. But in this video that we spoke about who this authentic expression is, and this is who I feel that the authentic expression of Taryn Nightingale is, but I wasn't always this person. About 7 years ago, I was in a highly abusive relationship and I was a very, very different person. I used to smoke pot like 3 times a week. I had 2 different dealers. I used to drink copious amounts of alcohol. I was totally with a crowd that would not be considered healthy. And I didn't believe in myself and I didn't really have much self-worth. And I actually was suicidal and actually tried once and luckily failed. And yes, so very completely different person. But the aspect of myself that is here right now that can talk about that is the same aspect of myself that observed all of that and thus can bring that to you. Are you following what I'm saying? Calling it an aspect of myself is also maybe not fair, but language is what it is. So there is something within me that can observe that I was this person before and now I'm this person now. And I know some of you sitting there listening to me right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen it in the comment section where you've mentioned that you've been different people throughout your life. And if you even haven't mentioned it, stop. Let's take a moment. You're supposed to be thinking about the different people you are. Like, who were you at 5? Who were you at 10? Who were you at 16, 21, 30, 50, 70? Get my point? Very, very different people. And I'll keep saying this because this is a concept. Is it a concept? If you want to know more about concepts, everything's a concept. Check out this video over here. This is a teaching. It's a principle you must get. We're different people. So if I'm a different person, if my identity itself is fluid, then who or what am I? If you remember from our previous video, we had Baba, who then looked to Mama to explain who he was. Because as a baby, we often, and this is a concept used in psychology, mirroring, the baby looks to mommy to go, okay, I am mirroring your experience. So if the baby gets hurt and the baby feels sad and is unhappy, they then look to their authority figures or their caretakers to mirror that experience to them so that they develop a healthy sense of self. But let's rewind a little bit. Before any of this happens, who is this baby? Before this baby gets hurt, before this baby has any sort of experience, he's just been born, which in itself is he's literally had an experience. Before he has a name, before he knows what race he is, before he knows whether he's a he or a she or someone else has determined that for him, before he knows anything else about the country that he's born in and what that means and about his parents, this Baba's alive. But this Baba doesn't have a name, but this Baba's alive. And this Baba is perceiving and seeing and experiencing. That part of that Baba that's seeing and perceiving and experiencing, who is that? Now, you at some stage, before you knew what your name was, who your parents were, which country you were born in, and what all the beliefs that came with living in that country, how much money you had, how much money you didn't have, how much education you had, before you knew any of those things, you were a Baba too that was perceiving. Did that part of you ever leave? No. The body you had as a Baba, is that still around? Or the body that you have now is very different to that body, right? And the views you had when you were 5 years old and the views you have now about the world are very different, right? But that part of you that was with you when you were this Baba, that was with you when you were 5, that was with you now, that is with you as you're hearing and listening to my voice, it's still there, right? And you may have a thought about what I'm just saying, but that thought can come and go. You can have a feeling about what I'm saying, but that feeling comes and goes. So all those other things are changing. Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your beliefs, your body, they're all changing. But the thing that remains constant, unchanged, is the perceiver of all of those experiences, the witness of all those experiences, the observer of all those experiences. Hang on. So yeah, this is all lovely and great and awesome as a concept, which you probably understand. If you don't understand, let me know down in the comment section if you're not getting the concept of it, because then we can find another concept to explain this teaching. I don't want to call this a concept to explain this teaching, but essentially, once we start talking about something, if you check out my video about everything being a concept, I think I've already pointed to it, but I'm going to put it in the description box below, so you can check that out too. Once I start talking about something and I try and explain this, it's already becoming a concept. A word in itself is a concept. Language in itself is a concept. Everything's a concept. But point being, so you understand this. But there's a difference between understanding something and knowing something. Understanding, you can get it, but that doesn't mean you believe it. It doesn't mean that there isn't doubt, right? But when you know something, what is it? You know it. It's not even a notion of believing it. You just know. There's no other word I can think of describing it. You know the truth of it. So what's important here is do not take my word for what I'm saying to you now. You must go and discover, explore, and experience this for yourself. Let me know in the comment section below if you want to know what kind of exercises we can do to do this. But your life will show you too. And if you're listening to this video now, then you definitely want to know. Yay! So essentially what I'm saying is you're none of those things that you think you are. You are the perceiver of all those things. And that is the God within you. That is the source within you. That is awareness. That is consciousness. And it's not some difficult thing that you have to go on some long quest to figure out and experience. It's about your willingness to allow it, to rest in it, to experience it. This is a teaching I am still exploring, because what can happen with people is they think that understanding this and understanding that you are actually awareness and you're not your identity, you're not your ego. Check out the video on the ego. That you are the perceiver of all those things. They think that that means that all of those experiences, so your thoughts, emotions, and your ego, that all of that just dissipates and it goes away. But that's actually not what happens. Instead, you start learning to function more from a place of awareness. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you're always functioning from a place of awareness. And secondly, it also doesn't mean that your ego just disappears. Because as you know me, I am Taryn Nightingale. And inherent in what the ego is an identity. So if I'm already calling myself Taryn Nightingale, I haven't let go of my ego. But there's an ego that is more aware, for a lack of a better word. I've seen someone else recently call it the balanced and the imbalanced ego. And the balanced ego is the one that understands that it is functioning from awareness and that its identity is a vehicle to function within this world. Whereas then the imbalanced ego is the ego that wants to be right and feels like it is separate from everything else in the world and just an entity functioning on this space on its own, and that it itself is in absolute control of its life and that it is having a life, whereas the balanced ego understands that life flows from it and that it itself is life. Let me know in the comment section if that was too much. Let me know if you have any questions below. This video was specifically designed to trigger certain points, not in a bad way, but if it's a bad way, why are you being triggered? What about this is causing you some sort of discomfort? Lean into that. Sit with it. Sit with it. Sit with it. So beautiful beings, I'm going to end this video there. I would so love to know if you want to know more on this. So please let me know in the comment section. If this went above your head, tell me it went above your head. I need your feedback on this. And I'm looking forward to hear what you have to say. And thank you so much for sticking around until here. If you've gotten to this point, say oranges are orange. Thank you, I'd appreciate that. And I so look forward to the next video with you. If you haven't yet and you're new, remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification button. And then, as always, beautiful beings, as always, I wish you love. Bye, beautiful beings.